Any of you that have been watching me for a while knows that I love old hand tools. Anytime I can do a project and I can only use hand tools, I will, especially woodworking. I absolutely love it. Hand planes are some of my favorite, and of course, when you're talking hand planes, Stanley is the name you pretty much always hear. Stanley ruled the market, still does today, just completely dominated everything else in terms of marketing and name-wise. But I recently found a hand plane that kind of changed up my thoughts. So it has taken me quite some time, but I have a very nice set of planes here now. The biggest is a Stanley number 7 here. It's a massive hand plane that was a gift to me from Ray. He restored everything but sharpening the iron, which I still haven't got to. Sorry, buddy. I will soon. But he completely restored this plane. If you want to check out the restoration of it, check it out on his YouTube channel. First link in the description. But he restored it, and I was watching the videos, watching him restore it, and I didn't even know that it was meant for me. Before this, so this is my most recent acquisition. Before that, I have this lovely number 6 that I restored in a video series. If I think about it, I'll post a link here somewhere. But this is just one of my favorites. I absolutely love this plane. Gorgeous restoration, came out lovely. This is a Stanley Jack plane, or number 5. Again, a beautiful plane, original handles. This one's a little bit newer. Has the plastic or the whatever type of material it is handles. Moving over to a number 4. It's a beautiful little plane, a restoration I did. Love a number 4. Number 4 is more like your everyday plane. Number 4 you use for most things, a small smoothing plane. Then we have this gorgeous Stanley 9 1/4. This is a sweet plane that I also did a restoration on. If I can think about it, I'll link a video here if you want to see that. I absolutely love this plane. This is actually quite a little treasure for me. This is an awesome find. And then my very first plane, it's funny starting with the biggest and the smallest, this one was also a gift from Ray Bartlett. He found this little one, I can't remember where, a yard sale or something, and did a little restoration on it, cleaned it up, and gave it to me. And this one has been used probably more than anyone. This is awesome. It didn't have a front knob on it when I got it, but I bought another little broken plane for parts, and the knob fits perfectly. So that's awesome. Full set. Now these are all Stanleys, almost a full set here. Pretty well I wouldn't mind having a number 3 that would go right here between these, and the biggest Stanley makes is a number 8, belongs over here. This is number 7. Number 8 is their biggest. I can't imagine I would ever need a plane that big, but it would be nice to have that full set. Now recently I was in an old antique shop and I found this. This is a plane that sort of changed my standards. So this plane, maybe some of you have heard of it before, maybe it's commonplace to you, but it wasn't to me. It is a footprint. And it is just built so well. First of all, it's in close to pristine condition. I mean, as far as hand planes go, this one is mint. But I just want to talk about a few things. So this is number 4. So it would be comparable to the Stanley number 4 here. Almost the exact same body, same length, same size. Here are a few differences. So we have a higher end wood used for both of the handles. We have what looks like a beautiful rosewood here. That's what my guess would be. Just gorgeous. The grain is properly selected for the handle. I can't say that about the Stanley. And they are just beautiful. Notice how the rear tote here is completely rounded. So that takes a lot more time in production to do that. You have a much nicer handle. Most of these Stanleys were given a little bit of contouring. Sides were left flat, so cut out of a smaller piece of wood. Less wastage, cheaped out a little bit, okay? And then you compare with that. This plane, even though these are almost the exact same size, the weight can't even compare. The weight of this footprint because of the actual chassis or the body of the plane is so much thicker. So much thicker and more robustly built than the Stanley. And I know that might not seem like an issue to some of you, but that does make a big difference, especially when you're throwing around a smaller plane like this. That extra weight makes it so much more comfortable using, because you can get the momentum, you get the inertia going, it doesn't hit your joint so hard when you're hitting knots and things like that. It's much nicer to have. Another big thing for me was the type of fasteners used on this plane. We have brass here, and check out, this is one of the coolest things, check out this rear adjustment wheel. That is one huge solid chunk of brass, and you just don't see that on the Stanley planes. This brass wheel is so refined. Any movement on the threads here and your little adjustment lever, your little Y here, which is solid forged, by the way, any movement by that wheel moves the iron. Very precise, and you got that big solid chunk of brass that's going to look so good cleaned up. And if you compare it with the Stanley, this knob on this Stanley is a piece of steel. Not sure what type, I think some kind of plated, maybe a nickel plated or something steel. Not near as nice, not near as robust. You come over to some of the other models like my 5 here, 5.5 jack plane. You've got a plastic wheel on this one, which I don't like at all. But they just aren't quite as nice as this. This is beautiful. I'll also note that if you look right inside of here on the plane, so this part of the plane is called the frog, and it separates from the body itself. If you look in here, it has an adjustment portion here for the frog. So if you look at, let me break it down for you here. Remnants from the last project. If you look inside here at this number 4, so the frog screws down to the body right here. 2 screws. This is pretty much how all planes work. And then in back of here, there is nothing. So you've just got to kind of eyeball this where you want it and kind of shimmy it around and try to get it in place. The beauty of this one is that you have that micro adjustment screw here to be able to move that frog just the slightest, teeniest amount to get that perfect adjustment. And that is a very nice feature. Let's haul the cap off this footprint here. Very similar to the cap on the Stanley. These two are almost identical. Although we do have, on the footprint, we have this nice little shield here to protect your iron against this little steel. This is sort of what creates some leverage and pinches this lever cap against your iron. So when you turn this, you have that little piece of steel gouging against your iron. If you look at this footprint, you have this cap, so you still get the same pinching, but it moves inside of the shield. So it protects your iron and keeps your iron in perfect condition. You don't get any little wear spot. If you look, this is the iron from the Stanley. Over time, I don't know if you can see it, but right here is where that chip buster has been chewed away at. But you won't find that on the iron from this footprint. Looking inside at the two skew levers, this skew lever on this footprint is literally, I would say, twice the thickness of the lever on this number 4. And I have another Stanley number 4 where this lever is broken. It's broken off, so I've got to find another one somewhere and try to rivet it, try to make it work. This one is just a solid chunk of steel, milled. It's so heavy. It's just excellent. I can't imagine how you would ever break that compared to this little flimsy one that, I don't know if you can see, but I could bend this either way I wanted right now, which this one is not the same at all. So if we want to get in depth even a little more here, our blade or our iron sits flat on the frog on both of them. Note how much more surface area near the bottom this footprint has. So the iron on this footprint has a huge contacting surface. All these surfaces here to stand behind that blade. Whereas this Stanley just touches down here. And then you have this huge gap, and then it touches up here. Is that a big difference? I'm not so sure it is for function-wise, but I would imagine it was just some more attention to detail, creating a better, stronger product. So just made this video just to kind of mention, don't just accept what everyone tells you. Stanley is kind of marketed as a standard. It's known as a standard. There's just so many of them made, and no doubt Stanleys are great planes. Like you see here, I have an entire set of them, and they're fantastic, as much as you would ever need. But if you look at this company like Footprint, even though I haven't heard the name many times in my life, look at the quality of the plane they've made here. They definitely deserve a lot of recognition and a lot more attention than they've had in the past. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to check out the restoration, look forward to the next video where we clean up this plane and set it to use. It's not going to need a lot of work, just a little bit of touching up, but it's going to be gorgeous. I'm going to be on the hunt for these Footprint planes from now on. I want a full set of them just like my Stanleys. I absolutely love them. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next one.